What's happening, peeps? It's Saturday night and I'm bored. Well, I was bored, so I thought, right, I'll get into the unit. I'll do some work on Brian's van. He's been bugging for a wee while, looking over everything. We couldn't get lights not working out. I realised there's no wiring in the front of the lights, so I thought, right, get back to basics before we put in the dash and whatnot. We'll make sure the electrics work. As you can tell by my face, none of it works. The van obviously does start, it does drive, which is at least one bonus. But as you can see, this clusterfuck, I better do that out. This mess behind me, I've got to try and sort out why the hell we're not getting power to the lights. It's a weird one. There is power, the battery coming into the fuse box, but I'll show you here with the magic of the GoPro. That would be helpful if it was actually tight and not doing what I wanted it to do. So I'm recording via that. But look at the state of the electrics in here. I have literally found this, a power wire that's been bridged into and is just hanging loose here. And that was up against the body on this side, so that could have arced right out and we could have had a 12 volt massacre of flames and all sorts happening there. As you can see, the whole van itself is just stripped to the nines. I've got loose cables everywhere. Like they're so bad. I'm trying to go back to basics on this, and what my plan is to try and get the lights whatnot fixed first. Find where the power's getting lost, why we're not getting relays clicking in. I mean, no lights working, no brake lights, no reverse lights, no side lights, no indicators, no hazards, nothing. And what I have noticed is when the ignition's off on the van, the lights stay on in the dash for the oil pressure. Now that to me would scream there's a bad earth somewhere and it's still bridging back out, so it wouldn't surprise me at all with the cabling that's in here and what's in the engine bay as well. Now this was a Mark 6 van, it is a Mark 6 van, but it's had a Mark 5 front end on it. As far as I know, it also did have an MOT when it went to get the work done with this front end on it, so everything worked. And somewhere along the lines, something's gone missing on it, or something's been moved, or something's been cut or broken, or I don't know because I never stripped it out. But everything's been stripped out, nothing's been labelled. There's not much to it, which is at least one bonus, but there's enough to get you confused as to why it's not actually, lights aren't going on. Simple, a simple thing has turned into going to be a nightmare. I've chased cables and whatnot, and I've checked relays, I've checked fuses, and they're all spot on. I just need to try and see why we have cables like randomly bridged into and chopped up. It's not a good sign when you start seeing things like that. I know on the front lights, I'll show you in a second, the front lights have got block connectors in them for the earth and the live, but there's no power getting to them anyway, so I need to source where this, need to chase this power right into the fuse box and see where it disappears and then track it all. I did a silly thing, I'm down here and I forgot to lift my Haynes manual. Now you might laugh at that, but the Haynes manual back in the day for these ones were really handy. You didn't have to bust your pal's balls to, as a mechanic, and phone them and say, listen, how do we get this working, what's wrong with this? You could just read it in the magazine, and that's why I bought this one, but that bothers me, left it sitting in the house, so I'm trying to kind of wing it tonight by myself, and Google as much as I can while I do this. I don't think I'm going to get the lights on tonight, but I'm going to chase everything, cut out what I can see that we don't need. There's a couple of cables that I'm a bit wary about. They go from this bridging point here, and it does go down to like the heater plugs, the glow plugs, sorry, down at the front, but it's not doing anything, because to get this van started, for the heater plugs to work, we need to connect a live across to the actual rail that the glow plugs sit to, so they're getting an earth, they're just not getting a live. So I don't have a clue of why this is taped in like this, unless that's just to give them the negative. I don't know, but I checked the power at the relay, and the relay's got power straight to it. but it's not saying that the relay is knackered as well to send the signal back down to the rail. So another thing I need to check. But the main thing is, I know that even if I can't get that to work, I can wire in my own relay and just take a direct power to that, and Brian can put on a timer switch, because act like a kind of immobiliser, if you like. You can switch it on, a time switch, and then it'll click itself off, and then the van will start, which is basically what you do with ignition when you look for the wee coil light to go out before you start the van. I have noticed it hasn't got it, so I don't know if this is the right dash for the van as well, the Speedo. There is a spare one here as well. Right behind me is one I found earlier, and it doesn't have it either. But it's also missing loads of plugs at the back, the holders for the back. Now I could take them off of that one and switch it, but I don't know if it's actually going to work or not. I have no idea. Everything's just guesswork at the moment. So there's no major updates on it as such. I'm going to take away to it anyway. If there is any other updates, it'll be on the video next, but I can't see it happening. It's now about 7-8 o'clock at night on Saturday, and I've been chasing the cables and trying to get things to drop and cleaning dust and pulling off tape since it was 6:30. So my head's down, but I'm still determined that it's got to be something simple. There's probably people screaming at me saying, this is what it is. Write it in the comments, because I would be forever grateful if you think where the PowerPoint would be broken, or where it should be, or key points I should be looking at, without me obviously looking at my Haynes manual. I'm pretty good with electrics, so I'm not. I will find it. It's just a helping hand goes a long way in something like this, especially when I didn't strip out. I mean, there's nothing labelled, nothing. It's just been out and left. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you up to date. So, and this might be piece out, but it might not be. We'll find out after this commercial break. Butler Installations, get your windows and doors and conservatories. Oh, Saturday nights by yourself. Me too.